Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive? Today, we're traveling back to 1674 to 1818 CE,
Ah,
the
yes.
Maratha Empire in India. We're going to be going beyond battles and conquests
That's right.
and looking at social transformations. How did Maratha rule really reshape the fabric of society?
And that's what we'll uncover today.
How did it impact daily life for everyday people?
Exactly. And, by the end, you'll have a new perspective.
On how power
Yes.
and these social structures really work.
Absolutely. I think the Maratha Empire is a fantastic example. We're talking about a decentralized structure with local chiefs.
Yeah, it is Samantha.
The Samanta, exactly. They had so much autonomy, which really contrasts with the Mughal rule before it.
It's really interesting to think about, was it more similar to like European feudalism?
Hmm. Well, there are some parallels,
Right. Yeah.
with the local lords and decentralized power.
Exactly.
But the Samanta system was way more complex than that.
Oh, well.
These chiefs, they weren't just like mini kings in their own little kingdoms.
Right. They were actually bound by all these obligations to the Maratha king.
Like what?
Things like military service,
Yeah.
maintaining order. They were responsible.
I see.
They did collect revenue, yes, but it was so much more than that.
It was power and responsibility all kind of tied together.
Interwoven, exactly.
So what did village life really look like then under this system?
Well, you can almost imagine it as this tapestry of self-governing villages.
Mm-hmm.
You have places like Uttarampur in South India.
Okay.
They actually have inscriptions there detailing this complex system of councils and committees.
Wow, that's incredible.
It was almost like a mini democracy.
So they had a say in how things were run.
They really did. They were responsible for everything from irrigation to even settling disputes.
That's fascinating. What about the economic side of things, though?
Yeah.
How did this Samanta system impact, say, the lives of farmers or artisans?
Right. Well, it's key to remember the Maratha Empire was huge, very diverse.
Oh, of course. So the economic realities, they varied a lot from region to region.
Right.
You have places like the Coimbatore region.
Okay.
They were known for pepper production.
Interesting.
And get this spice was so sought after that it drew Roman gold into the trade networks.
Wow. Roman gold. That's a big deal.
It is.
So I'm guessing this prosperity wasn't like evenly distributed, right?
You got it. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. The Samanta system, while it promoted this local autonomy, it also meant that some chiefs, they could amass more wealth and influence than others.
Right.
The sources show us a rural society that's really in flux,
Mm-hmm.
Agricultural production's booming in some areas. You have favorable land policies, trade networks thriving, and at the same time, we're seeing these powerful merchant guilds, especially in South India.
So these merchant guilds, were they like the Hanseatic League in Europe?
They did have considerable clout, economic, political, just like the Hanseatic League.
Right.
They could influence prices, finance large ventures, even sway political decisions.
Really? So they weren't just about profits then?
Not at all. They played a vital role in social life, too, supporting their members, organizing festivals, even funding public works.
So it was this kind of balance, like economic power, social responsibility.
Exactly. A fascinating blend.
Did they face any major challenges, though?
Oh, absolutely.
Like what?
Well, think about the plague that ravaged Agra during Jahangir's reign.
Right.
That disrupted trade, caused so much hardship.
Of course.
But those guilds, they were resilient. They adapted. They recovered from that crisis. It really speaks volumes about their ingenuity.
Yeah, for sure. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about a more complex topic.
Yeah.
Caste dynamics. How did Maratha rule affect this hierarchy?
It's crucial to understand that the caste system, it wasn't static back then. I mean, it's deeply ingrained, of course, but it was evolving. And the Maratha period saw some really fascinating shifts.
Okay, like what?
Well, one notable trend was incorporating those local cults and deities into the broader Hindu framework.
So it's like weaving these local beliefs into the bigger picture of Hinduism.
Exactly.
Was this just a religious thing, or did it have like social implications?
Well, that's what's so fascinating, the intertwining of religious and social change, right? Sometimes elevating those local cults, it could lead to upward mobility for certain groups within the caste system.
Interesting. So it challenged the existing hierarchy.
In subtle but significant ways, yes.
It reminds me of those devotional movements that were happening in Tamil Nadu around the same time. Like the ones focused on Shiva and Vishnu. There was all that religious fervor that seemed to go beyond those traditional caste boundaries.
That's a great connection to make.
Yeah.
Because those movements, with their emphasis on personal devotion over rigid rituals, they did offer a space for more social fluidity.
So religion and social change were really interconnected.
Deeply, absolutely.
It's amazing how all these different aspects like religion, economics, politics, they all come together to shape these social dynamics.
It is. It's a complex interplay.
Did this fluidity actually challenge the caste system in any lasting ways?
Well, there's a concept called Sankirna Jati, which refers to mixed castes.
Okay.
It recognizes that intercaste marriages, social interactions, they were creating these new hybrid identities.
Yeah.
Ones that didn't fit neatly into those old categories.
Oh, those rigid boundaries, they were becoming blurred.
Even if they weren't completely erased, yeah.
Makes you think about how those social hierarchies work today.
Exactly.
Are they as fixed as we think?
It's a profound question. And the Maratha experience forces us to confront it. It's this reminder that even the most deeply rooted social structures, they can change and evolve. And it really does make you think, doesn't it, about these social structures, how they can change.
Absolutely.
We were just talking about challenging those hierarchies, and
Right.
we can't forget the role of guilds and community organizations.
Yeah, those sound crucial, especially when we're talking about a time where central authority was more distant.
You're absolutely right.
What can you tell us about how these guilds operated and what kind of impact they had?
Well, just think back to those powerful merchant guilds, especially the ones flourishing in South India.
Right, right.
Their reach, it extended way beyond just marketplaces.
So they weren't just about buying and selling.
No, not at all. They had incredible economic and political power.
Really?
They could negotiate directly with rulers, finance huge ventures, even act as mediators in disputes.
Wow. It's like they were early corporations.
Almost. They were shaping the economic landscape. Their influence, sometimes it rivaled even the Samanta chiefs.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a whole different picture of merchants. It's not just about trading goods.
It wasn't. They were woven into the fabric of power.
But you mentioned social responsibility, too.
Oh, absolutely. That was huge. They provided support for their members, organized religious festivals, even funded public works.
So it was balancing those economic interests with duty to the community.
It was. It was a fascinating mix.
Did this idea of power and social responsibility, did that play out in other ways?
Definitely. These guilds, they weren't isolated.
Right.
They were part of this massive network, spanning the entire subcontinent.
Facilitating trade.
Connecting communities. Imagine this web of relationships, from port cities to inland villages, all linked.
It's like this flow of goods and ideas and even cultural practices.
Exactly. And, that interconnectedness, it must have had a huge influence on regional identities, especially with the Marathas' decentralized system.
Yeah, that emphasis on local autonomy.
Exactly. When you have constant contact with diverse cultures, it shapes who you are.
Makes sense.
And you can see that reflected in the architectural styles that emerged under Maratha rule.
Like what?
Well, think about the Nine-Bay Tomb plan. It became so popular.
Okay.
It was adapting those Timurid influences, but creating something distinctly Maratha.
It's almost like cultural cross-pollination. Like ideas and beliefs, even designs, are being shared and then reshaped.
Exactly, leading to all these regional cultures. It's a testament to creativity and dynamism.
Right. It wasn't just about conquest. There's this blossoming of art, literature, all these unique expressions.
And it's fueled by this decentralized system. It allows those local identities to thrive.
It's like this cultural renaissance.
Absolutely. Incredible diversity within a unified empire.
But did this system, this decentralized system, did it have any downsides? Did it create challenges for the Marathas?
Well, of course, while there are many benefits, it also had its complexities.
Right.
Maintaining unity across such a vast empire with all these local chiefs, it was a balancing act.
I can imagine. How did they navigate that tension between local and central authority?
That's fascinating to think about, isn't it? This intricate web of power.
Yeah.
Did it contribute to the empire's decline? Or was it actually a source of their resilience?
Those are great questions. It seems like this dive has really opened up a lot more questions than answers.
And that's the beauty of it sometimes, isn't it?
What other lasting impacts did the Marathas leave behind?
Well, we have to consider the broader cultural impact.
Yeah.
They didn't just change social structures. They left this indelible mark on the cultural landscape.
How so?
Think about how they incorporated local traditions into the broader Hindu framework.
Okay.
It wasn't just forcing beliefs on people, it was much more nuanced.
So it was weaving those local beliefs into the existing tapestry of Hinduism.
Exactly. And that had a profound effect on how different communities interacted. It fostered a shared identity.
While acknowledging the diversity of those practices.
Right, and that's a powerful legacy, especially in a place as diverse as India.
Yeah, a form of unity that embraces those differences.
You've got it.
Yeah.
And that legacy, it resonates in India today. The Marathas, they left behind more than just political boundary.
They contributed to that vibrant cultural tapestry.
Absolutely. One that continues to evolve and inspire.
Wow, it really is amazing how looking back at history can teach us so much about culture and identity.
That's what's so great about it, isn't it?
As we wrap up our deep dive into Maratha India, I'm thinking about all the ripple effects.
The lasting ones.
Yeah, of their system of governing, the decentralized one.
Right.
And how that all tie into these complex social structures, their acceptance of all those different cultures.
Mm-hmm. It's about understanding how the past shapes us today. And the Marathas are a great example. Their decentralized rule, those intricate social structures, the way they embrace diversity, it's a legacy that still resonates in India.
It feels like we've just scratched the surface.
It's a rich and complex story.
Definitely. I hope that's what our listeners take away.
That history isn't about knowing everything, it's about getting curious.
And asking the right questions.
Exactly. And those questions, they can lead us down these unexpected paths, challenge our assumptions, make us understand the world better.
To our listeners out there, keep exploring Maratha India. There's just so much to discover.
Oh, absolutely.
The art, the architecture, the everyday lives of the people who thrived under Maratha rule.
And who knows, maybe you'll even find some answers.
To the questions we brought up today. Well, thanks for joining us on this journey.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive into history.
Until then, keep those minds curious.